Hey everybody, it's Mike from Fishing the Mid-South. Today I'm down at the bait ditch and I'm going to try to pick up a little bit of bait. Um, Using just a little 1/24th, 1/32, somewhere in there. Betts spinner. This particular creek, it's spring fed, but it's not fed by a lot. It's mostly rain runoff, but this connects to a larger creek, or a river I should say, that then connects to the Mississippi River. Typically what we're looking for in here are going to be green sunfish. I found that this area is going to be either really hitting or really not. I've seen one turtle thus far. This water's probably 3, maybe 4 foot deep at best. Oh, this one's pulling a little drag. And I have a bluegill, not a green sunfish, but I'll take him. Fish number 1's in the bucket. So the purpose here today is to get some bait to go catfishing with later on this weekend. Came out here earlier in this week and having all kinds of problems with my line. I'm like, man, this is the thickest 4-pound line I've ever had. I realized I spooled it with 10-pound, which is not good on an ultralight. So took that off, put my 4-pound Mr. Crappie high vis line on here. We're back to the races. The reel I'm using today is a Pflueger President. I believe this is, let me see what, yeah, 10-ball bearing. This is a size 25. And I'm on a ultralight Okuma Sililo rod. I think this one's a 5.6. Nope, 6.6. If you like ultralights, the Sililo is a nice little ultralight rod. They usually go on sale for about $30 or so. And they're very whippy. You're going to be throwing something really light with these. When I'm messing around with sunfish, I like using ultralights, usually 4-pound test, but mostly because the 2-pound test, I just can't see it well enough, and it's hard to maneuver because it is just so flexible. So I am getting taps on this. I'm just not getting a lot of takers. And since these are bluegill today that I'm hitting, thus far at least, I'll go ahead and aim more for the center of the channel and let it go down the bottom. Green sunfish are very active. They will just smack it, or when they're active, they'll just smack it wherever it is in the water column. Bluegill will tend to hang towards the bottom. Air temperature is about 75 degrees, and got a little bit of a breeze going, as you can see from the water. There we go. And that's the green sunfish. Tell the green sunfish because it's got a very large mouth compared to its body size. And you have the orange tint on the fins. Green sunfish do not get very large. I think the state record, if I remember correctly, was like half a pound. The Arkansas record was over a pound. I would say like 1.6, 1.5, 1.6, somewhere in there. We're down in Memphis, Tennessee today. Right there. So further down here, there's a patch of rocks. In my experience, the green sunfish do like rocks. When the water's clear, I can look down and not see a thing. Run a bait over it, and they just dart out from under the rocks. They're very big on ambush predating. They're ambush predators. That'd be a better way of putting that. Haven't had a lot of luck down by the rocks yet this year. Still getting over, all the dead debris and stuff that's come in over the winter. There's one. He ain't big, but he can be eaten by something else. How he's got this twisted. Here we go. The first cast down here by the rocks and got a hit, so that's a good sign. Going down this other direction, I've got a little, it's right there, a little wind knot, wind twist, whatever you want to call it. Okay, good, we got that out of there. Oh yeah, there's a lot of twist at that spot. And that took some work. I'm not sure how I did that. Wasn't there before. I'll roll it up. Really wish I knew how I did that. That took a serious amount of work to get looped over. Seemed to make it worse, so we'll go the other direction. Okay. that cleared up. Still don't know how I did it, but yeah, let's get back up here by the rocks, see what happens. I keep meaning to come down here with a minnow trap and get some minnows while I'm doing this. If there's any chubs in here or whatever. Okay. Today is a comedy of errors. Try this again. Had a hit there. For those unfamiliar with the bet spin, it's very similar to a Johnson Beetle spin. Except I have not seen beetle spins this small. Forgive my bad casting, it's early in the year. Just have to get back in the swing of it. Move a little closer to the rock, see if I can come up with anything better. There we go. This is actually a nice sized green sunfish, at least for this area. A little over the length of my palm, or the width of my palm. I got some ducks up there. Male and a female. Go. I believe that's number 4. bass fishing days, I learned that I like the sidearm cast better with these really lightweight lures. Sidearm isn't always the best way. But sidearm's always nice when you get trees hanging around, because, you know, you don't end up in the trees. When it's as narrow as this, you don't have as much room for error. There we go. Another greenie. A decent sized greenie too. And when I say decent size, I don't mean, you know, for eating, but for bait. Very nice. The goal is to get down the Mississippi River this weekend. Let's see if it holds true or not. Okay. Today is a comedy of errors. The good news is you get to see all my mistakes as well as the catching. Oh, saw him take that. I think this makes number 6. 6 or 7, somewhere in there. And I'm not one of those fancy YouTubers that's going to go back and put the right number up. Yeah, I'll figure it out. Yeah, in theory, I should learn to count better, but yeah, take what I can get. So the color is kind of, I don't know what they call it, but it's like a root beer fleck with a chartreuse tail. Kind of the best of both worlds. It gives you the darkness, the darker colors for conditions where you want to use light, darker bait, and then you've got the bright chartreuse when you want it to stand out a little more. Aside from the piles of rocks that were introduced, I assume, to slow down the flow or help with erosion, this is a very hard, nice hit. Very hard bottom, clay bottom basically. I think this may be a bass. Whatever it is, it's pulling like a, yep, it's a bass. It ain't a bad little bass, well, you know, for a creek bass. Camera baby. Really don't like seeing bass in here because they're here to eat my sunfish. Come on. No, I should lock on these. Forgot. There we go. There's our bass. Sorry, my camera changed angles on me. Pull the camera angle back up. Okay. So we'll call that fish number 7. look, I can feast up here. All the little minnows and the smaller green sunfish. They're going to grow up fast. Hopefully you can see the ducks on the other side over there. The female's just to the left of the male and down a little bit. And that little hit. Well, they're not stacked up in the rocks like I normally see them. And that was just me touching bottom as it rose up. I felt resistance, so I thought I'd try setting the hook anyway. Try a really slow retrieve this time. Retrieve rate is one of the areas where these President reels shine. They have a lower retrieve rate per turn of the handle than like those Daiwas I like, and I think even the Shimano Siennas. So even if you go a little fast, it's still going to slow you down a little bit. There's one. A little greenie. See if we can get a good look at him. See, green sunfish have this electric blue or whatever coloring up here by the eye. You got little black spots or flecks on them. Yellow bottom, greenish top. Again, all these green, yellow-orange markings on the fins. And they do fight really well for their size. Oh, there's another one. Apparently they were appreciative of me getting that bass out of their face. And like, oh good, we can come eat again. Yeah, these would all fit in his mouth. There we go. This line is really, really, really limp. Which is not a bad thing, but missed him. Keep thinking if I get over there, where that shadow is, that might hold something, because Sun's been beating on them all day. And granted, the water temp is not that hot yet. Even for this shallow, we've had rain recently in it. Water temp's definitely below 70. Probably not much below 70 though. Missed that one. Oh, that one went skin. That little greenie. So like I said, these green sunfish, they're ambush predators. So you really want to set the hook pretty much as soon as you feel something. They'll pick it up and drop it in a heartbeat. Bite, missed him too. Downside of using a spinner like this is sometimes they will hit the spinner. Oop. Oh, he stayed on. Little guy. So here's a trick I'll show you. Oh, yeah, he went all for it. You know, everybody's in, you know, we all know that fish are attracted to scents, etc. Get this out of here real quick. So when you catch a fish, just rub your bait up on the outside of it. Just get a little bit of that slime on it, and away he goes. And he left some on my hand, so get that. Just kind of mask the plastic smell of the bait. Usually do that with the first fish I catch, but I failed to do that today. Let's see, I think that was number 8, 9. Yeah, number 9. That scent's not really going to make them bite if they didn't want to bite, but it will make them hold on a little longer. This is especially good if you're in the companion fish tournament or something and you can't use artificial items like crappie nibbles, things like that. And you can't use live bait, but you can, use the scent off a fish, I would think. I missed him. Thought I had hooked him. So the wind's coming from the south, putting those riffles on the water, but this creek actually flows north to south. So the current's going the opposite direction of the riffles on top of the water. So our rocks aren't producing. I've been mostly casting upstream. So I'm going to go to where most of my casts were hitting and try to fish up from here. See if we can't get a few more today. And let's try landing in the water this time. A few good rolls on top of the water over there. Yeah, trying to hit the other bank and come off of it. Because for the most part, these are going to want to stay close to the bank, even though the bank's not very far away. Let that one drop to the bottom. Had a little hit. See a couple of minnows there in the water. Not sure what kind they are. They have a long dark stripe down the side. further down the bank. So here's a little shallow spot where there hasn't been quite as much erosion. Can't see it, I'm sure. It's there under the water. It's right here at the edge. That was a good hit, but I missed it. But again, they may hit the spinner instead of the bait, so it'd be hard to catch them if they just hit the spinner. That's one area where an inline spinner will help you catch more fish, because even if they hit the spinner, you got a good chance of hitting them with the hook. And 3 or 4 little taps there. Thinking if I come out with some red worms, I had better luck. I think that's pretty much true most of the time. So the big difference between these and the Johnson spinners is it kind of closes right here, as the Johnsons are more of a big U right there. I prefer this style more. Both are fairly hard plastic baits for being soft plastics. And I'll usually slide these down a little bit from the head and drop a little spot of super glue on there and pull them back up so that they stay longer. Here's a little bitty one. A little rub down on him again. As you can see from the action on top of the water, the fish are active. Not sure what they're. Oh, there's little bugs swimming right above top of the water they're after. Try coming in fast, see what I get. These don't track very well if you pull them in too fast. I think that was number 10. As you can tell, I lose count pretty easily. And yes, I have a fish counter, but I lost track of it too. And that's 2 dogs that are down there, and once they find out I'm here, they like to let all the fish know they see me. I believe those are what a certain cranky YouTube personality would call the dag blasted dogs. I hit something nice and tried to set the hook and smashed it in the yard. Completely missed the water. Yeah, y'all can laugh, it's okay. Yeah, go overhand. I think there's a little hump over there I keep smashing. Yeah, I can actually see it now. Trying to get just to the outside of it, see if there's anything waiting there to ambush. There we go. We're going to call this one 10. Probably more, definitely not less. There was a hit. That was another hit. Hello, number 11. I think those dogs are like, hey, will you bring me something to eat? Yeah, that was a little hit. Just non-committal. One of the secrets with using light line like this, make sure your drag's set good in case you hook into something you like. A little late on the release there. At least we're right over the top of that hump. Let's see if we get on the other side and drop down if anything happened. I think I actually just hit the hump. And for anyone worried about, taking too many of these, sunfish are very prolific breeders. The bluegill and green sunfish and those kind of guys will spawn multiple times a year. Got a fishing buddy that swears that they spawn on the full moon, every full moon. Not necessarily the same batch of fish, but one group will come in, spawn, hatch, get out of the way before the next full moon hits, and reuse the beds. you ever see the bottom and you see what looks like a bunch of little moon craters about 6 inches in diameter or so? That's going to be a sunfish bed. The sunfish is just like largemouth bass. They will defend the nest. And, the ones that aren't spawning want to come in there and try to get the eggs in the fry. And the ones on the bed, they're fighting them off the whole time. The sun is not as high as it was when I got here. Forgot to do a little after work fishing. Part of me thinks, just come in here and throw a cast net, but not a lot of sport now. Okay, so this is actually another bluegill. And let's see. I think that's 11. It's either 11 or closer to 30. One of the two. I was too slow on that one. Wind caught it and took it into one of his little briars on the side. And back up. Here are the trees. Oh, now this is really close to the edge, which would be a good place to pick up fish because, like I say, they like to hang out at the edge. And I'll let you go. You can be number 12, though. So my goal when I go to the Mississippi is to have enough bait to start off with so I can get some lines out and try snagging an Asian carp. It's not always guaranteed to get one. And if you live in an area with Asian carp tend to like, actually there's no tending to it, they like slower water. So you'll find them up behind sandbars or islands. They just want slow moving water. They're not out there to ambush anything. They just want the phytoplankton. The slower it moves, the happier they are, because they don't tend to get out there. And the Asian carp, if you're in a boat, it's real easy to find. They'll start jumping when you get near them because they hate the vibration of the motor. If your gunnels are slow enough, they'll jump in with you. And also hit you in the head, and that's not a good thing. Smallest Asian carp I've caught is probably around, I don't know, 8-10 pounds. You definitely want to take one of those to the noggin. And when you find one, you find a bunch. There we go, got him. Yeah, I didn't realize there's little rocks down there, or not little. Probably 1 foot by foot dogs. Let's see what we decide. That one was 11, 12. Nope, this is definitely at least 13. In case you're wondering how to deal with dag-blasted dogs, you don't yell at them. It doesn't do any good. Strangely enough, they are not taught English. One last cast, and then we'll head it home and call it a day. For those wondering what I'm going to do with this fish, I actually have, I bought my house, it came with one of those little backyard ponds, just a little plastic liner thing you get from home improvement stores. And it had goldfish, but something came along and decided it liked the goldfish more than I did. And so I'll just put these in there, keep the water moving, and dip them out when I'm ready to go. And since, like I said, this flows into another river that flows into the Mississippi, it's all part of the same waterway, so I can use them live. How to win not. Let's see if I pull the right direction and get it out. It's kind of like backlashes on a casting reel. If you pull it the right way, you're golden. If you pull it the wrong way, you're stuck. So I did a review on the different sizes, more size comparison on the President 20, 25, and 30. And for me, for this size line, 4 pound, maybe even 6 pound, I believe the size 25 is the way to go. It's got a little bigger diameter on the center of the spool, so it doesn't have quite as many line twists. And once you get up to the 30, it's just, the 30 is something like an ounce heavier, and it holds so much more line. And there's only so much line you need to put on one of these. Figure if I need more than 100 yards of 4 pound test, I'm losing the fish anyway. I don't have that kind of patience. Didn't quite make it to the water. This wind will pick up these little light lures and take it wherever it wants. Oh yeah, so that was one last cast, didn't I? At least counted the track number of fish, the fish counter, and the number of times I'm going to cast before I leave. But I think that's going to do it for us, folks. Thanks for watching, and as always, I'll see you guys out on the water.